Ridley Scott breaks down iconic movies.
They're all iconographic.
Of course they are.
Do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead!
Can you describe how you executed that huge opening battle?
I'm trying to think where I really started the many multi-camera thing, but I stepped up and thought, I can't do the one-on-one. It'll take me forever. I'll still be shooting it today. I said, I'm going to step up to, I think, 8 cameras. It's simple, actually, because if you've got 1,000 extras there, and you've got Mark Aurelius on the hill, and you've got Russell Crowe down below amongst the catapults and the cannons, why not put cameras in all those positions? You go, action! And it all happens together in one big scene. So I'm now in my wigwam or tent, watching 8 cameras going boom, boom. And because I'm an operator, I said, boom, you missed it, change your lens, you were slow, let's go again. But we do all of that establishing shot in 2 takes, that's it. As opposed to shooting it all bloody day, or 2-day shoot. You do it in a day, or less. And remembering, I'm blessed, I've got a very good eye. I'm just blessed, I've got a great eye. I can set up here in 3 seconds in a boring room. You know, Russell said, the tiger was this close. I said, I was standing there as well, dude. He's on a chain. He said, just missed me. But that was a real tiger. An 11-foot Bengal. But the guy, the trainer, if you watch closely, as he hits the ground, the tiger's on him, he's putting something in his mouth, he's feeding him, saying thank you. That means get off me. Because if he hits the red zone, he's going to eat you. He hits it and he does that and he's new cut.
Strength and honor!
Paul Mescal was kind of stunned at the scale, and my job was saying, oh, I see, Colin, you're fine. I said, don't worry about it, it's only a day job. Forget you've got all this stuff around you, you're in your own arena. I think he got to it pretty quick.
He told me that you slapped him on the back and said, I've no time for nerves.
Exactly. Somebody said, do they really have water in the Colosseum? I said, of course, you can build a Colosseum, you can get water in the Colosseum, you moron. They have, don't you know what these water ducts are? They have water running into the Colosseum. Their technology, they still made cement better than our cement today, you know that? They can't work out what the mix is. But the Roman road right now, the Appian Way in Rome, hasn't moved. The column's 1,000 years old. I said, can you get a shark? And I said, if you can build the Colosseum, you can get a shark in there, dude. Not me, not a 20-footer, but you get 6 foot, that'll kill you. They're a bit bigger than that.
The gods have spoken!
I said, you're the Sex Pistols. If you want to be Johnny Rotten. Was it Johnny Rotten, the Sex Pistols? I think so. But he had this awful blonde hair. So I said, we're going to go red because you're twins. The only thing you look alike is because you've got the similar hair. We had a scene which I regret not doing, which is kind of funny because they're constantly bickering about who was conceived first, because he was conceived first is more of an emperor than the other one. So then this detailed conversation about how he said, well, if I was out last, I was conceived first. Think that out. Because of my art background, I was a kind of comic strip aficionado. I can really draw. I can draw comic strips really well. And so I read the script and knew exactly what to do because it read to me like a comic, a dark comic. And so before I went, I drew some storyboards for the first 20 minutes of the movie. And I went out there to Hollywood, first time in Hollywood really, as a person who potentially directed a movie. The budget would be 4.2. I had no idea what it was, 4 times what the duelist cost. I took the boards out and showed them the boards. The budget went from 4.2 to 8.4. So the value of a vision is everything. It went woomph like that. I was a very good camera operator because of 2,500 commercials I operate on all of them. So I was the only cameraman. An Alien. I did right through to Thelma and Louise as an operator. So I'm a really good operator. A lot of it's handheld. And so I knew it had to be viscerally and creepy and be constantly on the move. So you do things like overlap dialogue, and I'm standing there, and there's a scene between Sigourney and whoever, and I'm always slightly moving like this, so you're always feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Why is it moving? So it drove the editor crazy, but it really worked. Don't forget, we have no digital effects in those days, and nothing. And so backdrops have to be painted, and I have to find a very tall, thin man to squeeze into a rubber suit. And therefore, when you do that, you know you can shoot very little, shoot as little as possible because it doesn't really hold up. And so by being subliminal and minimal, it works very well. I think the creature was unique, and you have to believe. It doesn't matter how good my cast was. The cast was fantastic. But without that beast, it wouldn't have been the same.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
I was worried that we were actually we might run out of scares and creepy things in the corridor. So the new thing would suddenly come in, Ash would object to something, and then would actually have a bad turn as a AI, and Yaphet Kotto had to take the fire extinguisher and knock him around the head. Probably he knocked his head off, so now we see a wires and metal, organic AI. Is he using AI? The first time was Stanley Kubrick, where he invented HAL. HAL emerged as a computer, which no one knew what a computer was in those days. The computer knows from the corporation that the journey success is more important than the crew. So we borrowed that and made that into Ash. But he was the company man. Of course, if you're going to make a company man, you don't want a black box. You want somebody who's going to consort, meet, chat, drink coffee with, and be with the people. They will not know he's a company man because he's kind of more human than human.
He say you Blade Runner.
Tell him I'm eating.
On Blade Runner, I was inventing a new world. And I spent 5 months with a very good writer called Hampton Fancher, who'd really written a play adapted from Do Android Dream Electric Sheep. And so I read the book and felt there were 90 stories in the first 20 pages. So I thought, it's too complex. But I sat with Hampton. I said, you've written this beautiful story that takes place in an apartment. It's an internal story where a hunter falls in love with his quarry. Love your cadence, love the rhythm of your dialogue, love the idea. I want to see what happens when he goes out the door. And from that moment on, we just went boom. Harrison Ford was not a star yet. He had just finished flying the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars. I remember my financiers saying, who the fuck is Harrison Ford? I said, you're going to find out. So Harry became my leading man. And I couldn't find the girl. And I looked and looked and looked. I was looking for Vivian Leigh kind of thing, this dark beauty. And I finally found this girl who was 18, hadn't done a film before. That was her first movie. The reason for the pyramid was, I think the true Tyrell was dead inside a sarcophagus in the middle of the pyramid because he knew he was dying. Whatever the age and the time, there will always be some industrial disease that we haven't actually dealt with. But he'd also, here's the trick, does Putin have 6 clones? So Tyrell had made several lookalikes of himself, so he could be anywhere, you wouldn't know where the real one was. So the Tyrell we were talking to was probably not the real Tyrell, but was a fundamentally replication of himself. So that's how complex it gets. That's how we ended up with the pyramid. He never got to do the scene where they go to the sarcophagus and see he's dead. I think he died in the sarcophagus. I took it from, there's a massive power breakdown on the east coast of America. One powerhouse in one of the states It was crazy. All the 3 states switched off for 22 hours. So I think I went from that idea, when it went down, Terrell may have died in the deep freeze.
Oxygen level critical.
That script landed on my desk. It was a very good novel, a very good adaptation. And so I read it and said, it's a comedy. And they said, a comedy? I said, yes, a comedy. How could it not be a comedy when you survive by eating food grown from your own dump? Come on. So all of that you see can happen is true. And so I got to know NASA pretty well. And so even the thing, that triangle that he goes off and finds it from an old mission is true. They send it up there and they leave that stuff behind. They always make a replica, identical at home. So they can say, open up top left-hand corner, there's 3 screws. One is red, one is green, one is pink. It's that literal. So there's an exact copy a fool could follow. And that's what happened. We took that. So then he could suddenly see Earth, turned it and got connections. So that's how he made connections. I am alive. I still ask the question, we haven't sorted this out yet, so why are we going off-world? No one can live there. No one can live on the moon. And your Mars is your threshold of deep space where you're suddenly into the next planet is a short distance of 1.5 light years. You ain't going to get that. But what you'll find on Mars and Moon is massive mineral wealth. That's why an alien, you got the Nostromo coming in from mining expedition. It's dead true. There's massive mineral wealth on the Moon and on Mars. But we'll have to ship it back. But you can be in Mars now with this engine today in about 7 months. In the Moon, you'd be there in 4 days. It's only 250,000 miles.
Relatively quick. Would you go?
No, absolutely not. Why? Are you kidding? I'm not crazy.
Let's keep going. What do you mean? Go!
That was brought to my company scot-free, not for me to direct, but for me to produce. And Callie Curry, who actually that was a receptionist, I think, in David Fincher's company. And he never read the script, and I did. I think one day she said, David, I've had the script read. Who? Ridley? Went, oh, fuck. Okay, so I offered it to 5 people who'd said, nah, not for me. I got a problem with the women. So that's the whole point, having a problem with the women. It shouldn't be a problem. You should get it. One day I was interviewing Michelle Pfeiffer, I think it was, who said, listen, I can't do this, but I like the script. Why don't you come to your senses and you do it? So I said, okay, I did it. I was recceing and I was coming through Arkansas, which is kind of, my buddy is the production designer is Chinese Jamaican with dreadlocks. You don't go through Arkansas with Chinese Jamaican with dreadlocks. So we stopped in Mark Park Kettle's garage and got a rifle out and put it on the counter and said, when you boys out of town? I said, we're just going to get some cigarettes and we're going to move on. While Norris is doing that, I'm outside filling up and there's a giant cement mixer. There's 2 women with T-shirts, muscles, and they got Marlboros rolled up in the sleeve. So do you mind if I record you? So I recorded the 2 women talking. I said, can I have your hat? And you have mine. So I swapped and that hat went on Thelma in the film.
You, sir. Yeah, you do the honors. Take that cash, you put it in that bag right there. You got an amazing story to tell your friends. If not, well, you got a tag on your toe. You decide. I lost the Braddock cast about 10 days out. He took another film. Oh dear, what a terrible mistake. So I had to look fast. I got 2 guys, Brad and another guy.
equally kind of attractive. And I said to Jen, I've got two guys, okay, you're going to read with both. And afterwards we'll discuss it. She said, this guy's Brad, and that's it. She thinks she cast him. She didn't. I already cast him.
Hey, there's a Black Hawk down. Formerly Nelson, you're going to stay here. You're going to hold this corner. The next one with the Humvees.
I had to get the King of Morocco, who I got to know, because of the Kingdom of Heaven. And Kingdom of Heaven, they love the Kingdom of Heaven because they're in deep respect for the Muslim culture. So he was charming. And so now on Black Hawk, I can say, I want to bring in 4 Black Hawks and 4 Nightbirds. But to do that, I've got to bring 125 Rangers. You know what a Ranger is? It's heavy duty, real thing. Because they'll be the insurance on the Black Hawk, and I can't have my actors fast roping down that. That's got to be a Ranger, because if somebody falls, I'm in trouble. And he says, I'll do that, but you have to get the Pentagon to write me a note inviting us to send to me, because I welcome the American army and their devices. So he did that. He wrote in to the Pentagon. The Pentagon goes, okay, we're on. So we sent in 4 Black Hawks, 4 Nightbirds, and 125 Rangers. I'm working in a village near Rabat, which used to be called the Barbary Coast, where all the pirates were. I took over the village, but it's a town. But in the town, I said, we're going to be up and down all your streets. So I employed 1,500 people in the town every day for like 3 months, 4 months. And they loved it, and every one of them could handle a weapon or could sprint in flip-flops. And they could run in ragged clothing and shoot and fire from Sierra Leone, Congo, everything. Fantastic.
What did that film teach you about war?
No one wins. Everyone dies. Everyone gets hurt.
We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
We're basically going to be controlled by 1984 by a hierarchy. And I think the hierarchy is this. This is genius and a fucking disaster. Get your kid to go climb a tree and leave this at home, all right? So I didn't meet Steve Jobs. I think I met Wozniak, and I drew my board, and they went, oh, that's cool. Here's this silly thing. I said, what's it for? I said, a computer, but it doesn't mention computer. No, it doesn't mention the price. Well, how much is it? $2,500. I said, that's expensive. How wrong I was. I should have bought stock then.
Secure from the pests, obeying contradictory thoughts.
And why the woman in the red and white?
Well, she was a great-looking athlete. Why not? Jesus Christ, okay? She was good. And I like that we invented the hammer, like the hammer and sickle and all that. So we're underscoring the possibility of oppression from there. So the guy on screen, we shot him on that morning, ranting, because he wasn't in the script, we just got him to rant. And she destroyed this oppression. And I had 200 skinheads there, because I couldn't afford to shave everyone's head, so I had 200 skinheads there saying, listen, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm going to throw this thing at the screen. I'm going to then blow you covered with talcum powder. One of you all to go, oh, and they did.
But you are advising me. I just need you to be sure that you're locked in. Because I don't know. Maybe I should tell you what Mickey Rourke told What's-His-Face. That's my recommendation anyway, Counselor. Don't do it.
Counselor I've been beaten up for, but actually he's the best dialoguist in the business. Call me McCarthy. I'd already had his Blood Meridian. And then he sent me he'd written the screenplay. And the dialogue was the best dialogue I ever read. I fell in love with the dialogue. I got Brad Pitt, all those people in 4 days. They said, I'll do it. So we were able to make that film for nothing. Make that film for a low price for us then would be about $32 million. For that film, with that cast, Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz, Michael Fassbender, Cameron Diaz.
And how did you approach the scene with Cameron having sex with the car?
Yes, I said, how do you feel about climbing out the car and making love to this Ferrari? She said, no problem.
Box splits?
Yeah. That's not her. That's somebody else who did the splits. I was fairly well-to-do because of advertising, and when I was 38, I realized, my God, I'm never going to make a movie. And so I started reading. I've always been economic, public domain, and we read a 100-page novella called The Duelists. Joseph Conrad would be his large sketch idea for his kind of War and Peace, so I got it free. And I found a very good writer called Jerry Vaughan Hughes, who's probably one of the best writers I've come across in the industry. He's sadly passed, but I got this beautiful script from him, and from that did the journey, because I could afford to fly and travel, and I flew to Canada to see Hallmark Hall of Fame, because they said they'd seen and knew I was doing this. When I got there, they said, well, this is more of a movie. I said, why didn't you say that before I left? So I went to Hollywood, shopped it round, didn't get it going, came back to England, and finally called up David Putnam, now Lord Putnam, who said, this is a good script. I said, I knew. And he said, we can probably get this together. So he introduced me to Paramount. In so doing, we got it going. The opening line of Meeting Harvey in New York, he said, you're me to play a huzzah, you got to be out of your fucking mind. And he said, I've never handled a sword before and I don't get on horses. So I said, that's exactly what I want, because Harvey would take two hands to a saber and use it like an alley cat fight. I wanted an alley cat fight, none of this elegant nonsense. So Harvey would spit and come at him with a saber. But Harvey was great because he was the opposite. Napoleon was very smart. He realized very quickly the new god, the working class guys who became officers, he realized he needed the old god as well. So he actually started very quickly to graft the two together. So that's what it was also about, which is very smart.
Nothing is more magical. As long as they roam the earth, evil can never harm the pure of heart.
Legend was a fairy story that written by a guy who's a cowboy from way north above Montana, William Yotzberg, who'd written two great books called Symbiography and Falling Angel that Alan Parker had made into a film called Angel Heart. And I called him up and said, can you come and meet me? I wanted you to do a fairy story. He said, okay. So he gets in the car and he arrives, and we have breakfast at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I'm going to show him Jean Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast. He said, what's it about? I said, in a word. I said, about the fastest steed alive, a unicorn. He went, okay. Opened his wallet, and inside he had a piece of origami, which is a unicorn. What a weird coincidence, because it would be about a unicorn, but I used the same unicorn in Blade Runner. But from it, I needed the devil. And I was so blown away with Tim Curry. And he came in and said, yes, I'll do it. He was so much fun playing the devil.
We are all animals, my lady.
But in there's Mia Sara and Tom Cruise is 21. Tom is 21. The film's great.